there, it's Debbie with the Pickin Coop Farmstead. I'm back at it out here in my garden today. I wanted to come out here. I desperately need to fertilize, but I also wanted to kind of harvest some stuff before I put the fish emulsion on, because that stuff's stinky nasty. You'll want to harvest before you put that on. Then I figured if I put that on and it can soak in really good, the ground is still really wet. I was putting my sprinkler on every other evening. Now I'm doing every third evening, so it's staying really wet out here, which is a good thing. But it kind of tells me that it feels like fall is in the air. It's really chilly out here. I just hope everything's doing really well still, but I just hope I get my tomatoes. It's good for some things and some things not so much. So come along, we're just going to do some puttering out here. Now that I'm home every day, I can harvest my okra as it should be before it gets hard. It's nice and tender, so this will be really good to add to my frying mix. Got to show you my little dwarf sunflowers that I planted on the edge of my pumpkin bed. This is my pumpkin bed, by the way. Look at the insanity. Isn't that beautiful? So I planted sunflowers just along this very edge here, and these two are starting to head out. I am so excited about that. Some of them got choked out. I think I planted like 5 or 6 along here. This one is trying. It's really trying. Got a little cucumber. Got some green beans and some little cherry tomatoes. I do have to rectify my last statement on this little squash here. This, I believe, is butternut. And I'm hoping that these little round guys, albeit they're not that big, are probably, I'm hoping, my spaghetti squash. Ooh, look, cucamelon. I'm going to eat that guy. Thank you, Lord. These are just a few of my tomatoes, and of course they're not done blushing, but I like to pick them about this so they can ripen on the counter, and they're still really good and sweet. Look at the size of that guy. I think this is the biggest one I've gotten so far. Looks great. Got a few wax beans. I think I'm going to try my hand at making dilly beans. I'm going to use some of these and some of my green beans. My ever-loving sweet boy. Come here, Johnny. Johnny. Oh, that's a good boy. He's a good boy. Oh, I love him. He's just standing guard out here. He's so patient. Well, I'll be darned. Look at this guy. That is an Armenian cucumber. This is in the crazy squash cucumber bed. I thought these were just pickling cucumbers. Well, you know, I think I would say 95% of all the squash and cucumbers I dropped off that tray on my bike are thriving. That is absolutely incredible. Just look at this jungle. This is the middle bed where all the squash and cucumbers, most of them are, I should say. Look at this beauty. We're taking this to the chickens. They just are devouring this stuff. This is that, I'm calling it the dreadlock amaranth. It's so beautiful, and the chickens are going crazy for it. I think with the beans I've already picked plus these, I have at least enough for 1 pint of refrigerator dilly beans. I'm excited. I've never made those. Okay, I don't know if you can really see these or not. I've got some cilantro that I let go to seed. There we are. And it's starting to turn brown. So I do want to pick this, and I'm going to take it in the house and let it finish drying. Then I will harvest the seeds from that. Once I've found out, if you don't, especially since I've been using this sprinkler, I don't want it to mildew. So this piece I'm cutting next is partially brown and partially not. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and pick this. Oh, it smells yummy like cilantro, but can't really harvest the leaves. I give the leaves and stuff to the chickens just because they're bitter. But the chickens will eat them. They love them. All right, so we got that. I think this poor little, I don't know if you can see over here, this poor little chamomile is spent. So I'm just going to cut it and drop it. And yes, I'll probably have chamomile growing here in the spring, but that's okay. As you can see, let me push up here. My lettuce heads are not quite ready yet. They're starting to get there, so I'm going to be trimming those pretty soon. So I'm going to have forever lettuce. I'm excited about that. So we are getting quite a bit of harvest today. Some more amaranth. It's turning brown. The leaves are even turning brown, so these are going to go to the chickens. Okay, I've got some more cilantro right here that's partially brown. I'm just going to cut it back. I think I'm just going to take all of it. Cut it back, and that's quite a big bushel here. Save my seeds. I still have so much from last year, so I don't think I'll ever have to plant this stuff again. It's pretty amazing. I don't think I'll ever have to buy giant marigold seeds again either. They are just prolific, beautiful little flowers. We're getting a lot more sweet basil than I thought I would from the few plants that I got out of my seedlings. Now that the season is coming to a close on my chamomile, I finally got smart and brought a little cup out. They kind of get lost at the bottom of my basket here, and yeah, they get dirty and everything else. So if you bring a little cup to put them in, that works great. Then we have our wonderful gift that keeps giving, the calendula. This is pretty much a daily thing, picking these guys. I cannot wait to make some salve out of this. Really excited. And like I said, I try to cut the stems at the Y. Then when I get them in the house, I cut them right up to the head of the flower there, the bud of the flower. And then the chickens get that part because they are highly medicinal, not only for us, but for the chickens. I have some dill that headed out over here, but I'm not quite ready to pick that yet, so we're going to leave that alone. I've got a couple of lemon cucumbers. They're usually really, really prolific. I just can't keep up with them, but I think because I overcrowded this bed, it's kind of, they're coming on, but they're kind of slow, but that's okay, because I have an abundance of cucumbers this year. Okay, there's one right there. I think there's one back in here, and then I've got a bunch of, they're just all entwined together. I've got pickling cucumbers, tomatoes. I had that mystery tomato that came up, and it turned out to be a cherry, and this thing is like, I'd say at least 7 feet tall. Look at what I just walked right by. This beautiful, beautiful sunflower. I finally have one that's headed out. It's kind of a burnt orange. It's beautiful. I can't believe I missed that. Ooh, look at this little breakfast snack I found. Yum. Usually when they get this ripe, they've got little slug holes in them. This one's perfect. And believe it or not, with the heat, I'm still getting these little broccoli florets after I took the big head off. I'm just keep trimming the dead leaves up off the bottom, and then these are already starting to head out. These little things are getting smaller and smaller, so I have a feeling it's probably going to give up the ghost here pretty soon, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can. It's so delicious. Okay, since I only have one nozzle out here for my hose, I have my hose hooked up to my T-post sprinkler, and my actual T-post sprinkler died. That's the second one, so I'm gonna be buying that product again. And but I do have two that I bought that stake into the ground. It's the same principle. They're like little rainbird. They're not rainbirds, but they're all metal, which I love. So I did the okified thing, and I zip tied it to my T-post, and it works fabulous. So anyhow, I have no way of hooking up to where I can get water other than undoing the nozzle or the hose from the sprinkler and hooking it up to my garden wand. So that's what I'm going to use for doing my fertilizing, because it's a liquid fertilizer that you have to add water, and I'm still using this fish emulsion because I haven't fertilized like I should be doing. So it's just like a couple tablespoons, I think, to a gallon of water, and I'm using a 4.5 gallon bucket, and I'm just going to go along and just drizzle it on everything. And I've got my homemade kombucha I'm drinking. This time I used homegrown strawberries, and then I bought some blueberries and I infused it with that. It's really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and fertilize, so hang in there. Alright, so here's my little 4.5 gallon bucket. I just kind of stir this up. After I get rid of this, I told you guys in a video before this, I just put like 4 tablespoons, eyeball it. And this is stinky. Try not to get it on your hands. That's why I like to harvest before I put this stuff on my plants. Then you're just going to fill up your bucket with it. And then you just drizzle it on your plants. Now you want to do this after you have watered your garden. Let it sit for a couple hours. And if your garden's still wet like mine is, and I don't want to turn my overnight sprinklers on until tomorrow night, right now is a perfect time to do this, so you're not going to dilute your fertilizer. And as always, this is just what I do. Follow your manufacturer's directions. But yeah, that's all you do. And then I just put it in a little circle around each plant. And this stuff seems to work really, really well. So anytime you could use a natural fertilizer for all of this is best, because you think about it, you're growing the food, you've got your soil, you don't want to put any synthetic fertilizers in there, you want to amend your soil with all kinds of natural stuff, and because you're eating it, you know, you don't want to eat all that nastiness. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and I'll be back in a bit. Alright, we got everything fertilized. Word to the wise, if you have like a little ladle, a dipper, you can have more control and your fertilizer goes a lot farther than just kind of sloshing it on there. So I used my little solo cup for that, and it worked quite well. And it will go a lot farther, so I still have more fish fertilizer left. I even did all my blue buckets full of potatoes and that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. I'm going to be doing a video later, probably today. My goal today, if I get everything done, is I want to kind of sit outside. I planned out my fall garden yesterday afternoon, and I've got all my seeds ready. When I should plant them, the ones I should plant indoors, the ones I should direct sow, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of fun for me. I really like it. It used to make me really nervous in the beginning, and I think, you know, plant them. If they don't grow, they don't grow. You learn something. So my next video is going to be on that. So I hope the sun is shining where you are today. I hope you have a fabulous day, and thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. We will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.